Hello. I was looking at the tweets after the Peterborough by-election, and this prompted me to do a bit of research. Now, for those of you not in Britain, I have to explain the importance of this by-election. It was a test both of the failing Labour Party and of the Brexit Party, which is the new kid in town. Well, first of all, why did this by-election happen? Well, last year's MP, a woman, I can't exactly call her a lady for reasons which will become apparent in a moment, a woman called Fiona Onasanya was elected last year, and no sooner done than she was up on a speeding charge. Well, 2 speeding charges to be precise, but she made the claim that someone else had been driving her car at the time. Unfortunately, her brother, who had also been in the car, gave a contradictory story, and after a retrial, she was convicted and sentenced to 3 months in jail. Oh, for goodness sake, Fiona, you were caught. Why did you have to lie about it? It wouldn't have been a sackable offence if you'd simply, put your hands up and admitted you'd been banged to rights. Anyway, she lost her job, and that triggered a by-election. With, by the way, Ms. Onasanya still protesting her innocence. So the election was last week, but the political landscape was different now. As I said, the Brexit Party had stepped in. Furthermore, the replacement for Miss Onasanya, Lisa Forbes, has been implicated in some rather distasteful online anti-Semitism. For that reason, everyone thought the Brexit Party had a fighting chance, especially after the triumph of the European elections only a couple of weeks ago. The Labour Party drafted in, it seems like half their entire membership, or maybe more, to fight the good fight. They were coming from all over the country. And after a truly epic campaign, Lisa Forbes was elected with a 600-vote majority, which actually isn't a terrific amount, but still, first past the post, she's in. One of the tweets afterwards went something like, "Peterborough, WTF, were you thinking of?" And that prompted me to look into the composition of Peterborough and Peterborough City Council, because Lisa Forbes ticks 2 important boxes from an electoral point of view, and particularly to the advantage of the Labour Party. First of all, she is in the red corner, which in Britain, for you Yanks, means the precise opposite of what it does in the US. The red corner in this case being the Labour Party. Lisa Forbes represents the Labour Party, and she thinks what the Labour Party thinks. And secondly, she was found to have been busy, as I said, liking anti-Semitic posts on Facebook or Twitter or something. I don't know exactly which one. And there is one particular demographic that seems to attract anti-Semitic Labour Party representatives, and that is the Muslim demographic. There's no beating around the bush. It has to be said. And specifically the ones with a Bangladeshi or Pakistani background. As I keep saying, I exclude the Ismailis and the Ahmadis. And they are Pakistani, Bangladeshi as well. I'm talking about the mainstream Muslims from that area, or rather with parents and grandparents from that area. So I decided to check out how it worked in Peterborough. First, I found that Peterborough has a Muslim population of about 9.5%, which is actually higher than the 5% average of the rest of the country. Not that this means all that much, but it's then interesting to see how much that less than 10% has shown itself in local politics. So here's the composition of Peterborough City Council. First of all, the smaller parties. Warrington First it's obviously a local pressure group type of political party, and they have 3 councillors. Good for them, they got their act together just to do something within their own living space. And then here are the Greens. They have 2 councillors and both from the same ward, Orton Waterville. Obviously, there's something in Orton Waterville that's attractive, some sort of green awareness. Then there's the Liberal Party. Frankly, I didn't know there still was one. I thought that the Liberals and the Social Democrats had joined to make the Lib Dems, and that was it, whatever. This chap describes himself as belonging to the Liberal Party, not to be confused with the Lib Dems, and there's only one of him. Now, on to the Lib Dems. This is a more respectably large group with 9 members. And this is their one ethnic minority councillor. Well, that's reasonable enough considering the general population. Now, here are the Conservatives. I had to make 2 pages of that because it's by far the largest group. 28 councillors. As you see, Peterborough is at heart a Conservative city, despite the relatively large population of people of Pakistani or Bangladeshi heritage. Most of the rest of the population is white and English and working and lower to middle class. It's not metropolitan in the same way as is London or Manchester, say. It may be called a city, it has a cathedral, but it's still really a slightly out-of-the-way country town at heart, and very pretty, I might say. But that probably won't stop me from getting some flack from Peterborough on the impression that I'm calling them yokels. No, I'm not, so don't get that impression. Anyway, here are the representatives they've picked for themselves. So on this page we see 2 Asian British, and on this page we have another 3 more. So that's 5 Muslim councillors, or at least councillors with obvious Muslim names. 5 out of 28 isn't a bad ratio, that's 17%, which is a bit higher than the population, but I wouldn't consider that anything remarkable. So now, let's look at the Labour groups. There are 2 of them in Peterborough. There's Labour and Labour and Cooperative. They're both basically Labour, and it would be very unusual, I think, if they voted in opposition to each other, although, of course, it's technically possible. Here's Labour, 9 members, and these are the Muslim councillors. And here the picture really is different. We have 9 councillors, 4 of whom are apparently from a Pakistani or Bangladeshi background, judging from their names. First of all, I have to say something. Those missing photos there are all over the council website at the moment. The local elections were only last May, and I'm assuming that the newbies simply haven't had their official photos taken yet. They aren't trying to hide themselves or anything. The second thing is this. I want to emphasise I'm looking into the councillors' ethnic backgrounds, not because I want to get at them, but because I'm trying to illustrate how certain demographics seem to gravitate towards certain political institutions. And although I don't know anything at all about the personal opinions of any of these councillors, but going on, well, both what's known about Muslim anti-Semitism generally and a cultural tendency towards the Labour Party, it isn't surprising not only that there's a higher than general population number in this particular group, and also that they seem not particularly bothered by the soiled reputation of the parliamentary candidate for whom they fought so hard. And finally, here's the Labour and Cooperative Party, with a 50% Muslim participation. That's 50% in this group, and with the Labour Party group at 44%, that's a disproportionately high Muslim population among the politicians. Again, that's not a problem, so long as the rubbish is collected. and the schools are open and the roads are being taken care of. What I'm amused by are these. Here's a leaflet from the council elections last year. As I said, Peterborough is still a white working class country town, and that's what these people look like. But why don't they look like the people who are actually in the council? And here's another publicity photo. Again, just a little diversity showing through, but nothing that would alarm the locals by the looks of things. It just looks a bit, well, cynical of the Labour Party, if you ask me. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, and if you wish to donate, click the subscribe star link where you can make a one-off payment or set up a regular contribution, or I have a PayPal account at grannyopteryx@gmail.com. Till next time.